Hello and welcome along to another video. I'm on the back garden. I'm between the two sheds in my little potting area, and today we're going to plant some seeds. I'm going to also plant some dahlia tubers and some Gypsophila and one or two other things into pots. But first of all, I'm going to start off with what for me is one of my trickiest plants or trickiest flowers to grow. I really do find these difficult, and I'm not really sure why, and that is larkspur. Now, another good reason why I'm keen to get these larkspur going this year is that it's one of my wife's favourite flowers. She loves to flower arrange, and larkspur are just absolutely perfect for anybody that has that likes to do any flower arranging. So that's why I'm keen to sort of get some of these larkspur going. And as any good head gardener will tell you, it's important to keep the lady of the house pleased and with a steady supply of flowers. That's the larkspur planted. I'll put a label on that, and I'll put it somewhere dark and cold. They don't need any heat to help them germinate. Fingers crossed. Let's get some larkspur going. Now let's plant out some dahlia tubers. And what I've got here is a series of pots, and I'm going to plant the dahlia tubers into these pots. Now, these are not going to be the final flowering pots that these will stay in. In actual fact, I'll just keep them in here for about two months or so, till they establish, they create some roots, and then they start to put out the first shoots, and then I'll decide where I want them in the garden or on the allotment, and then I'll just transplant the whole pot. This variety I've got here is called Sandra, and it's a nice pink pom-pom variety. This one into a pot. I don't want to completely cover it with compost. If the old flowering stalk is just slightly proud of the compost, that's not a problem. I'll give that a good water, put a label on it, and then I'll pop that under the bench in the greenhouse. Now that will be able to stay in there for a couple of months. It'll create some nice roots, perhaps put out some shoots, and if the shoots are suitable for a cutting, I could then take a cutting and then get myself an extra plant. So, Dahlia Sandra. Again, the second one I'm going to plant out is a Dahlia Golden or Garden Wonder, which is a nice, slightly more open flower, nice red one. So again, slide into the pot, a bit of compost. Give it a good water, give it a label, and there we have Dahlia Golden Wonder. Now here's one of my favourites, which is the Bishop of Landau. Now I do have some of these actually in the garden, and but I'd like some more of these. So I'm going to put these out on the allotment, and they will just create a row of cut flowers. Oh, and this one's actually got a shoot coming out now. There we go. Again, some water, a label, Bishop of Landau. Now I actually bought a couple of packets of Gypsophila. Again, Gypsophila is great if you're a flower arranger. It looks good in the garden. Nice white feathery flowers. And now we have bought Gypsophila before in a pot, but this is the first time I've actually bought it in a bare root form. Now, let's leave a slightly larger pot here. So what we've got here is quite long roots. They're probably 5-6 inches long, and they're already beginning to sprout at the top. So what I'm going to do in this large pot here is to plant these 3 Gypsophila plants into there. Again, they don't look very promising at the moment, but I'm sure with a little bit of water and in the greenhouse for a couple of months, we'll see how they go. Right, the last one I'm going to plant out this afternoon is echinacea. Now there's supposed to be 2 echinaceas in this particular plant. There's one there which is got a really nice root system and just sprouting out, and the second one is a little jumble. Oh, in actual fact there's 3, a little jumble of roots, so I'm not sure what that's going to produce. Anyway, it's there's one there that's reasonable enough. Get that into the compost, and then I'm just going to plant that one in, keep my fingers crossed. Echinacea. Now the very last thing I'm going to plant this afternoon is some Ranunculus. These don't need to go into the ground until around about April, May time. So what I'm going to do first of all is to start them off in some of these quite large plastic containers. Wait for them to actually produce some roots and some shoots, and then I'll plant them out onto the allotment into a bed, so that they can be again used as cut flowers. Again, I'll give them water, I'll put a label on them so I know what they are, and I'll pop them in the greenhouse, and then once they get large enough to transplant out, they'll go out into the allotment. I've already set aside a couple of beds for things like Dahlias, Ranunculus, and fingers crossed Larkspur. Now the final job I'm going to be doing this afternoon is to actually trim back some of these sweet peas. You can see I planted these on the 22nd of January just into a cold greenhouse. They came up, they germinated really well, and I think I've got I would like to sort of stick my neck out, but I can't see any modules where there aren't any sweet peas. Now these were the sweet peas that I collected from last year's sweet peas before I cut them back. Now what I'm going to do now is what I usually do every year, and that is to actually cut off most of this this foliage here. Off. You can see 2 shoots there, and there are 2 new shoots just there, and this is where I've just cut off all this first growth. Now I'm going to do that with the whole lot of them. It looks a little bit brutal, but trust me, they do produce much stronger plants as a result. Right, so here's a quick recap then on what I've been up to this afternoon. There's my 2 pots of Gypsophila paniculata. Again, next to the Gypsophila is my Dahlia Garden Wonder, and then the Dahlia Sandra, and at the back there I've got the Bishop of Llandaff Dahlia, and then we have we've got 3 pots of echinaceas, and as you can see, they're just beginning to show. That one there is a little bit sort of slower. Here I have my tray of larkspur seeds, so I've got everything crossed, fingers, toes, you name it. I really do need to get my larkspur seeds up and going. And then we've got Ranunculus. There are currently 12 in those green trays there. Now if you look under the bench in that blue crate there, I've got another 20 Ranunculus seeds going in there, so I'm really hopeful that we're going to get plenty of Ranunculus seeds going. So that's what I've been up to this afternoon, all nicely laid out and all ready to germinate. So while I'm in the greenhouse, I'll just quickly sort of run through what else I've got going here. Over on this side here I've got my Charlotte new potatoes. They're the second early variety, and they're chitting away just nicely. Another couple of weeks, or the end of March, beginning of April, they should be out on the allotment, and if it's not too wet, that is. In the purple pot here I've got a pot of nasturtium seeds, which I collected from the flowers this last year. And then in the 4 green trays at the front here I've got a lettuce, salad leaves, and then I've got some parsley, another variety of lettuce, it's bright and spicy, that one. And then I've got some rocket in this pot there. I've got a tray of oregano, which is looking quite nice, and we've got a nice healthy batch of broad beans. They really do need to go out on the allotment, and I think that might be this afternoon's job. Now if we look underneath the bench, now I've got 1, 2, 3, I got 4 trays of onion Elsa Craig, which I pricked out just the other day, and they're looking really well. And over in this far corner I've got a tray of spring onion, which I planted out on the 10th of February, and they're looking pretty good as well. Anyway, that's it then for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Big thank you to all the current subscribers that are on board with this channel. I hope you enjoy what you see, and if there are anybody out there that's watching the channel that hasn't yet subscribed, please consider doing so, because it doesn't cost you, the viewer, anything at all, but it certainly helps my channel to grow. I'll see you next week, so in the meantime, happy gardening.